I'm going to have a look at a really interesting aircraft here, which is the Amodel NM-1 1/72 scale. It's a little Soviet era like experimental jet thingy, and Amodel isn't known for the best models in the world, but they do a lot of aircraft that they're your only option. Nobody else does them. So they give you a right up here on the history of the aircraft. I can kind of get that in frame here if you want to pause it to read all that information there. And our kit number would be 72229. And just generic info on the side there. I'm assuming this is like the dude who invented or designed the aircraft in some way. So we'll have a look and see what you get here. All of the Amodel kits are pretty much basically like limited run style of kits. They're available, but they are pretty much limited run. So here's our options here for, I guess that's a silver dope aircraft, and then one that's white like the one on the box. And our instructions are very basic, very minimal steps. I mean, for what this kit is, I mean, the instructions are perfectly fine because you're only dealing with a limited number of parts. It's a really cool looking aircraft. So we'll see what we have here, and here's our little basically winglets. It's all recessed in here. They might be a little bit heavily recessed for 172, but that's all right. This kit wasn't the most expensive in the world either. And okay, so I guess that's our top piece of the wing. And do we have the other side here? So here's the other side of the wing. Pretty much just a mirror. Nothing special, but there is a little bit of burring, a little bit of texture on here you have to smooth out. Nothing horrible, and doesn't look to be covered in flash or anything like that. And can't really see any sink marks in it. And then we have our, so there's quite a bit of flash on these pieces, like the wheels and your instrument bezel. You'll never see any of these parts. Like, you could really just black out this cockpit because you're never going to see any of it. But there is like minute details in there, and the ejection seat is like okay. It's not just like a L-shaped block or something, so it's nice at least. And I think this is our skid. You can see it's kind of rough. Take a bit to sand that out and correct it maybe. Then I'll have our look at our engines, which is just a duplicate sprue. So the engines look alright. It's got that sort of a texture to it, and you can see the lines. They're not scribed really perfectly in there, but they could be fixed. And I mean, if you had to rescribe these, there's just a little minimal amount of stuff to rescribe. And here's, I guess these would be the insides of the engine. Which is pretty nice. And then we have our fuselage, which this aircraft is actually pretty big. Like, here's the front section here. Like, minimal panel lines on here. You could probably get like a blueprint for the real thing and scribe your own in. And this plastic is nice and thick that you should be able to do that. And it's not super brittle or anything, so scribing would be okay. And then you have like a little bit of cleanup here. Some more details on here. Nothing on the inside, obviously. And the other side. Again, same sort of thing as the other. And then we have our tail section, which is split. kind of heavy panel lines, and there's a bit of cleanup here. This kit actually be more work should be done on cleaning this kit up than actually building it. So, and our other side, but this thing is big when it's done. It's going to be big. That's quite a large aircraft. The wings are short and stubby, but it's actually quite large to be split like that. And then I will go to our decals since they're right here. They're matte decals, which is pretty good. Get all your stars there nice and crisp. Limited carrier film on them. And you get the instrument. I wonder why we have two different sets of instruments. If there's a second version of this that has 2 seats or something, because we get 2 of them in there. And this is why I say you'll never see those, because this is the glass. The glass is pretty rough. You can see imperfections in it. You can hardly see through it. It's so thick. Like, it's more of a kind of a display thing, like paint that black inside or something and just have it on a stand or whatever. Because the glass isn't that great. But anyways, I mean, it looks alright. It's very interesting, really nice looking aircraft, and it's actually very large. So this is the Amodel NM-1 in 1/72 scale. So thank you for watching.